Let's start off by talking about mathematical expressions. What do I mean by mathematical expression? We can think of that as a phrase, if you like. So expression is a mathematical phrase. So that would be something like 5x plus 2. So what do we have here? We've got some numbers, 5 and 2, and numbers. We've got some operations, so this addition here, and we've got the multiplication of 5 times x, and this expression happens to contain a variable. So let's talk about variables for a minute, because this is the first time we've met that. So x here is a variable, so that is a quantity represented by a letter. That can have different values. And normally variables are represented by letters at the end of the alphabet, so like X, Y, Z, different values. So an expression can contain a variable, but it doesn't have an equal sign. We'll come to those in a minute. So how do we deal with a more complicated expression, such as, here's an example I've got, so we've got square root of 7 plus 3 minus 10 minus 1 in brackets times 2 divided by 12. So here's an expression, and we can kind of simplify this down to make it into a single number. If it had a variable in it, we probably couldn't do that. We'd have to leave it as something like this. But here we don't have any variables, so we can simplify it down to a single number. And how do we do that? Using the order of operations. So it's been decided that this is the order that we should use to simplify our expression. So there are different acronyms for this. Let's say BEDMAS is the one I happen to like. So here we've got brackets, and then exponents, division and multiplication, which are kind of the same thing. And then addition and subtraction, which are kind of the same thing. So if we have an expression like this, we just have to look down the list and see if we can find any of these things, deal with them, and then we can move on. So first of all, how about brackets? I can see some brackets here. There we go, so we've got to sort that out first. So we've got square root of 7 plus 3 minus 10 minus 1 is equal to 9 times 2 divided by 12. Okay, so we've done that. Now about how about some exponents? Here I see an exponent, so square root of 7 is the same as saying 7 to the power 1/2. This counts as an exponent. So if I calculate that in my calculator, I'm just going to use 2 decimal points here, so it's 2.64 plus 3 minus 9 times 2 divided by 12. Okay, so we've done that. Now can we see any division? I can see some division. Here's one. So we work out 2 divided by 12, which is 0.16. And then copy out the rest. I'm not being scared of using quite a lot of lines of my paper here and copying everything out, and I think that's a good way to keep track of what's going on, not making a silly mistake. Multiplication. I can see a multiplication here, so what's 9 times 0.16? That's 1.6. 2.64 plus 3 minus 1.6. Can you see any addition? Here we go. So that's 5.64 minus 1.6. And then finally subtraction. There it is. So that leaves us with 4.04. And that is the correct order in which to do these things to simplify an expression. And these rules still apply when we're going to be dealing with equations a bit later on.